Did you know angels are more than just winged figures? They're pure spirits, messengers of divine power. Hebrews 1:14 calls them ministering spirits sent to serve. But some, like Lucifer, fell from grace due to pride. Isaiah 14:12 details his descent, a warning against arrogance. This fall led to a battle with Michael and his angels fighting the darkness. Revelation 12:7-9 describes this cosmic clash. These fallen angels became demons, servants of Lucifer. Jude 1:6 speaks of their eternal chains. Understanding Angels offers insight into good and evil's eternal struggle. Explore the scriptures, delve deeper, and unravel the mysteries of these spiritual beings. Angels. The spirits, hosts, choirs, and sons of God are called angels because they are messengers sent from the Lord. Hebrews 1:14, Luke 2:10. Angels are spirits. Angels are individual persons, neither corporeal nor material, but pure spirits. Constituents, specifically individual rational form and esse, possibly a third constituent, brilliance or weight of spiritual light and fire. Who makest thy angels spirits, and thy ministers a burning fire? Psalms 103:4. And to the angels indeed he saith, He that maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire. Hebrews 1:7. Are they not all ministering spirits, sent to minister for them, who shall receive the inheritance of salvation? Hebrews 1:14. For our wrestling is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the world of this darkness, against the spirits of wickedness in the high places. Ephesians 6:12. When the morning stars praised me together, and all the sons of God made a joyful melody. Job 38:7. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, who didst rise in the morning? How art thou fallen to the earth, that didst wound the nations? Isaiah 14:12. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. Revelation 12:4. Original state of the angels, made in the sealed image of God, in heaven with grace, knowledge, understanding, infused sciences, and free will. For in him were all things created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominations or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and in him. Colossians 1:16. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, who didst rise in the morning? How art thou fallen to the earth, that didst wound the nations? Isaiah 14:12. And say to him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou wast the seal of resemblance, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou wast in the pleasures of the paradise of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, the topaz, and the jasper, the chrysolite, and the onyx, and the beryl, the sapphire, and the carbuncle, and the emerald. Gold, the work of thy beauty, and thy pipes were prepared in the day that thou wast created. Thou a cherub stretched out and protecting, and I set thee in the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day of thy creation until iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, thy inner parts were filled with iniquity, and thou hast sinned. And I cast thee out from the mountain of God, and destroyed thee, O covering cherub, out of the midst of the stones of fire. And thy heart was lifted up with thy beauty. Thou hast lost thy wisdom in thy beauty. I have cast thee to the ground. I have set thee before the face of kings, that they might behold thee. Ezekiel 28:12-17. Of old time thou hast broken my yoke, thou hast burst my bands, and thou saidst, I will not serve. For on every high hill and under every green tree thou didst prostitute thyself. Jeremiah 2:20. Order of events in the fall. One pride of Lucifer. 2. Sin of Lucifer. 3. Fall of Lucifer. Creation of Adam and Eve. 4. Temptation of Adam and Eve by Lucifer. 5. Pride of Adam. 6. Sin of Adam. 7. Fall of man. 8. Man inherits original sin and concupiscence. Fall of Lucifer and the rebel angels. Lucifer and a third of the angels, out of pride, rebelled against God and abandoned their positions. Pride goeth before destruction, and the spirit is lifted up before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. Because his heart is departed from him that made him. For pride is the beginning of all sin. He that holdeth it shall be filled with maledictions, and it shall ruin him in the end. Sirach 10:15. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, who didst rise in the morning? How art thou fallen to the earth, that didst wound the nations? And thou saidst in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will sit in the mountain of the covenant, in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the height of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. But yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, into the depth of the pit. They that shall see thee shall turn toward thee and behold thee. Is this the man that troubled the earth, that shook kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the prison to his prisoners? All the kings of the nations have all of them slept in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave, as an unprofitable branch defiled, and wrapped up among them that were slain by the sword, and art gone down to the bottom of the pit, as a rotten carcass. Thou shalt not keep company with them, even in burial, for thou hast destroyed thy land, thou hast slain thy people. The seed of the wicked shall not be named forever. Prepare his children for slaughter, for the iniquity of their fathers. They shall not rise up, nor inherit the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Isaiah 14:12-21. You are of your father the devil, and the desires of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and he stood not in the truth, because truth is not in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father thereof. John 8:44. And there was a great battle in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and they prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, who seduceth the whole world, and he was cast unto the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Revelation 12:7-9. And the angels who kept not their principality, but forsook their own habitation, he hath reserved under darkness in everlasting chains unto the judgment of the great day. Jude 1:6. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but delivered them, drawn down by infernal ropes to the lower hell, unto torments, to be reserved unto judgment. 2 Peter 2:4. Details of the fall of Lucifer. The primeval sin and fall of Lucifer and the rebel angels was not before creation, was not before the beginning, was not the temptation of Adam and Eve, and was not the fornication of angels with human women, but explicitly revealed to be a spiritual sin of pride in the beginning of time, of abandoning their positions in rebellion against God. The fallen angels and Lucifer together account for every demon. Every single demon is a fallen angel that rebelled against God in the beginning of creation and is subsequently a servant of Lucifer, the prince of demons. Note well, when St. Paul refers to the angels and says women should have their heads veiled in church, he is referring to Genesis and to the Targum tradition, possibly the life of Adam and Eve, which reports that when Eve was tempted by the serpent Lucifer, she wished to be like an angel, like a god. The veil is declaring she is under a man who is under Christ. Genesis 3:15, 3:20, 4:25, 1 Corinthians 11:3-12. St. Jude proves that the fallen angels sinned by rejecting authority and not sexual sin, because St. Jude is describing three different categories of sin, correspondingly exemplified by three different events: three sins of privation, impiety, corporeal immorality, and contradiction of truth and denial of position of authority, but subverted by the single good example of St. Michael, who practices piety for God, preserves the body of Moses, and respects authority of position. And the angels who kept not their principality, but forsook their own habitation, he hath reserved under darkness in everlasting chains, unto the judgment of the great day. As Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities, in like manner, having given themselves to fornication and going after other flesh, were made an example, suffering the punishment of eternal fire. In like manner, these men also defile the flesh and despise dominion and blaspheme majesty. When Michael the archangel, disputing with the devil, contended about the body of Moses, he durst not bring against him the judgment of railing speech, but said, "The Lord command thee." Jude 1:6 and 9. What do you think about this topic? Please share, like, and subscribe. Ratio Gloriae is now available on Amazon. God bless you all.